Hey, what's up, guys? Here on the Fire Sports Pod, where everything we got is hot. I'm your host, Zach Jackson. We got another episode for you all today. It is finally upon us. It is season 7, episode number 1 here on the Fire Sports Pod. We are powered by StreamYard, where StreamYard makes the dream yard go. We're officially on TikTok Live, back at it again, going on live. It's been a while. Was banned for obvious violations for some stupid reason about a week and a half ago. So it's been a while since we've been on live. So I'm happy to be back. And you're ready to roll with my episode 1 of season 7. So here we go. So we got some 3 big stories / news that involve the NBA and the NFL. First up, the one that was the shock out of the All-Star break for the NBA was definitely Victor Wembanyama. I know it just happened about a day and a half ago. It's about yesterday, basically. The shocking news of having Victor Wembanyama out for the season is pretty remarkable, to say the least. I mean, this guy was really the only one that really took the All-Star game very seriously. Pre-game, he was out there early training, this, that, and the other thing. Did not expect to come right before the All-Star break was over yesterday and say that he's going to be out for the remainder of the season with a blood clot. He was going to probably win Defensive Player of the Year, but now he won't be even eligible for that because he won't be playing in the amount of games required for that. So, in the grand scheme of things, we explained Victor Wembanyama, extremely promising career, hit an important milestone. He played in his first All-Star game. It turned out to be, in a likelihood, the final game of the second NBA season. Wembanyama is now expected to miss the remainder of the season due to a deep vein thrombosis in the right shoulder. What a difference of a few days can make, and that basically is a blood clot in the right shoulder. It is so-called an isolating incident, so he should be able to come make a full recovery. But again, that is the same injury and the same type of thing that happened to Chris Bosh. And Chris Bosh was still a bona fide all-star when he had to retire because of blood clots. Obviously, it was a different place in his body, but still, a blood clot is a blood clot. It is serious and needs to be taken care of. So he is going to be out for the remainder of the season. It's sad because the man literally was averaging a block a game, a 3-point a game. This guy's 7'4", guys, and he's able to do what guards can do on the basketball court, which is remarkable. And no one really can block his shot because when he shoots, it's so hard to block it. He adds like another 1.5 on his already 7-foot frame. Now there are three big ripple effects for the Victor Wembanyama injury, and we'll be going to go over that according to CBS Sports, as well as I would also have to agree. Wemby is out of the running for the awards. As we say, he has to have played 65 games. So that obviously takes him out of the running for a number of honors he was in the line to receive. He will no longer be the Defensive Player of the Year, nor he will be chosen to an all-defense or all-NBA team after the season. So, again, he would have probably won Defensive Player of the Year. He would have definitely probably been on all-defensive team and an all-NBA team this season. And the fact that he's not able to do it because of a blood clot kind of sucks. And he was great for the league. So-called, a lot of people saying he's going to be the face of the NBA when Steph, LeBron, and Kevin Durant hang it up. I'm not so sure on it. Got to see if he wants to take it in that type of way. But in the grand scheme of things, is Victor is a bona fide superstar in the NBA, and he literally is in his second year, which is pretty crazy. And a lot of people were a little shaken up to say that, oh, he's the second coming of LeBron, basically, because he had all the hype behind it. And he's not wrong. This guy is really a bona fide superstar, and this is his only second year, and cannot even play his full second year because of a blood clot. So Victor was averaging points-wise 24 a game, 11 rebounds, and 3 blocks a game so far this year. So, again, guys, almost a 25 points per game scorer, averaging a double-double a game, and with almost 4 blocks a game, which is pretty remarkable. Then the second ripple effect in the Victor Wembanyama's injury, the Spurs are likely headed for the lottery. Obviously, you have Chris Paul, you have De'Aaron Fox. They can really get the job done. They can kind of help them pave their way into maybe a play-in spot, but I don't see it. I really don't see it, guys. to be honest. Their only shot was with Victor because he's so versatile. He's huge, monstrous, and he could do a lot of things on the basketball court a lot of other players can't. So I would say that, yes, De'Aaron Fox is good enough to help this team out, but they're in a bit of a hole. They're going to compete. They just beat Phoenix last night by 11, and they had Kevin Durant and Devin Booker and Bradley Beal all playing together. So they could definitely win some games. They can compete, but it just sucks because they would have had a really good shot to at least compete in the play-in and maybe get out of the play-in tournament. But now they're not going to really even have a chance to. So I really hope he makes a speedy recovery and he's able to get back to dominating the field next year. Hopefully he gets back next year, crossing our fingers there. But again, De'Aaron Fox and Chris Paul are their guys there. They're going to have to try to revamp the ship. But yeah, I would have to agree with Aiden. Wemby's injury does hurt. And I like Wemby a lot. I mean, I'm not a Spurs fan. I'm a Lakers fan, obviously. But still, having Wemby hurt really hurts the NBA and hurts really everything because he's you think of the NBA coming after LeBron and Steph and Kevin Durant retire, you're thinking of Victor, you're thinking of Edwards, you're thinking of Ja, you're thinking of all the young guys, and he's one of those guys. So it sucks for them. 3, the Spurs will have to reconsider offseason plans. So their offseason was kind of going to be to build around whatever. Now they got to see what's going to happen with Victor. Is he going to be back? Is it going to be more? Then they got to go after and try to sign Fox. So they have him until at least the 2026. Do they want to re-extend his contract further than that? I'd probably think so. Because the fact that De'Aaron Fox is really one of the best guards in the NBA. I think personally, I like his game. He's fast, he's quick, he's versatile, and he can play pretty much both ends of the floor, so which is pretty good. So yeah, like I said, I think the Spurs will end up with a draft pick. They'll end up with a lottery pick. I don't think they're going to be competing that much. And again, maybe they do. They lose out. I think their best shot is to go into the lottery. And if you can get a top 4 pick in this draft coming in, you're going to be pretty good, especially if Victor comes back fully healthy. You got Victor, De'Aaron Fox, Chris Paul, and then you add another big-time star from this college basketball class. I think that goes wonders for San Antonio. And maybe they could land the number 1 pick depending on how bad they play. Obviously, you got the Washington, who only has 9 wins. You got Pelicans, who are right there like 14. Toronto's got 17. So there's definitely a midst of the draft. We'll see what happens in the future, but for right now, it's not looking bad, but it's not looking good. I mean, it was looking great before the All-Star game happened and after it, but now it's looking a little weary. But I hope and I believe that he'll come back fully healthy. I mean, Victor Wembanyama's craft and the way he gets himself ready for games is remarkable at such a young age. So really commend that. A lot of players that nowadays at that age really don't do those things, and they don't see their careers pan out the way they want it to be. If you guys are new to the live, don't forget to drop a follow as well as a like and a share. That is greatly appreciated. I appreciate all the support out there. Thanks again. So we're going to be moving now to our second segment as we're going to go over another injury in the NBA world, and that has to do with Anthony Davis. Obviously, as a Lakers fan, I was pretty at mixed emotions about the Anthony Davis trade in the beginning when Luka came here. Again, obviously, a lot of people are overreacting with Luka and the way he's playing. You got to really remember, this guy was the face of the franchise for the Dallas Mavericks. He was the guy they were building around, supposedly. He was the guy for the future. He was the guy to give them that Dirk type of style. Dirk Nowitzki, stay there his entire career. So he's bummed out. He really liked Dallas. Obviously, there's nothing against the Lakers. It's just that he was literally ripped from his home. He also spent like almost 15 mil on a home in Dallas, Texas, where now he had to put on the market because he now had to move to LA. So, and then on top of that, you're moving in LA with the wildfires are still going on, this, that, and the other thing. So it's really where it wasn't the best time, and the trade just happened overnight with not having anybody to know about it. And on top of that, his contract, as Aiden just portrayed, he lost about $100 million that he could have gained if Dallas was going, which they were supposedly going to give him the big max contract at the end of the year. And he lost that by going to the Lakers in the trade. Again, he's in a little bit of a slump. The guy hasn't played in over 2 months. He's only played 2 games in the last 2 months, or 3 games in the last 2 months. You got to give that guy a little bit more time. Obviously, he doesn't look like himself. He looks like he's like kind of in his head, like, oh, maybe maybe Harrison, the GM of the Mavericks, was correct. Nico Harrison, that I'm not in shape. I'm not ready to go. I'm not going to be that guy, whatever the case is. But I think it's just going to go. I think it's just going to go over his head. I think he's just got to get back. Look for Tuesday, guys. Tuesday, we play the Mavericks next weekend. I think that's going to be the game where you're going to see Luka get back to it. Now he gets to play against his former team. He gets to leave that shit behind him. And I think right after that game, he'll start coming into his own. Again, we got Denver tomorrow on ABC at 8:30. You guys know where I'm going with. I'm going with my Lakers with the dub. I think we're going to shock some people. I think Luka might come out in that game. You never know. Against a big time, we've been playing some pretty shit teams over the last 3 games that he's been a part of. So I think maybe a little bit of better competition, understanding that he's got to play and show out. But I really think that Tuesday game against the Mavericks is where he's going to really put metal to the pedal and get the gas rolling. That's where I believe he's going to be. He's going to be best suited in that game against Dallas. But yeah, Anthony Davis is injured yet again, guys. He's going to be out for another 2 weeks with the groin strain. He's making progress, but at least 2 more weeks for Anthony Davis. And it's not just Anthony Davis. They had Daniel Gafford, they had Derek Lively, and Anthony Davis. All 3 of them are injured and were out as soon as Anthony Davis got into the building, which is ridiculous. So again, like I said, we will see the Mavs are the top 2 bigs, like I just said, will be sidelined for extended periods. Daniel Gafford has a grade 3 MCL sprain. Derek Lively II has a stress fracture in his ankle and expected to miss at least the majority of the remainder of the regular season. So you better hope to get Anthony Davis back, because without that, they did signed a 7-footer Moses Brown to a 10-day deal Thursday to address their glaring lack of center depth. But again, he's a nobody. No offense to him, all due respect to Moses Brown, but he's not like Derek Lively. He's not a Daniel Gafford. He's not Anthony Davis, obviously. So you're really going to take a hit. Again, you're going to have to rely on Klay Thompson, Kyrie Irving to take over the thing until Anthony Davis comes back. But again, it'll be a short 2 weeks for them. They just got to wait. But he is still dealing with a left abductor strain. Again, that's where he went down without even being hit. Again, this is the reasons why we probably moved off of Anthony Davis. Again, he can't stay healthy. 1, 2, you have a potential to get one of the best players in the game right now in Luka, and you can work with him. You can get him better defensively. You can work with that. You can get his body right. And what is the best athlete to get him right is LeBron James Sr. That's the one you need. That's LeBron James. You got to get him in there, and you got to get him in with LeBron, and then something will change. And that's what I think that was the plan for the Lakers, is that, all right, we got still LeBron playing. Let's try to get Luka if we can while we got him. Now let's get him in there with LeBron and see what he can do. And so far, LeBron's playing out of his mind since he's turned 40. He's averaging 25, 8, and 7, over 40-something% from 40% from 3, over 50-something% from the field. Since turning 40, this guy doesn't age. It's remarkable how well he's playing at his age. But again, for me, I don't think the Anthony Davis trade is a failure yet for the Mavs. I just think we have to see if he can come back fully healthy and how good are they. Because the way his first half stats, his first 2 quarters and a half with the Mavs was really good, man. He had like 24 points. he was going monstrous out there. And then out of nowhere, he gets hurt with an adductor where he never got hit. He just went down. So I think that's where you could draw the line. If he's not able to get back healthy and then he doesn't show up in the playoffs, or you guys don't make it, even with him playing, then you might say, well, yeah, we just went to the finals with pretty much the same team. Obviously, you lost Derrick Jones Jr., lost some guys that were some dogs on that team, but still, I'm just saying there's a good chance that this trade probably wouldn't have worked out good for the Mavericks. And I'm not just saying as a Lakers fan. In general, Anthony Davis just can't stay healthy. He didn't stay healthy on the Pelicans. He couldn't stay healthy on the Lakers. And right when he comes to the Mavericks, first game he plays, he's hurt. So there's a lot of things that we have to go over in the coming weeks. We'll see what happens. But come playoff time, where's Anthony Davis at, how well he's doing, and how the Mavericks are doing. But right now, it's just not looking good, if I'm being honest. Just not looking good. And then finally, as a Cowboys fan, obviously some people might care about this, some people might not. Even if you're not a Cowboys fan, Zack Martin has been one of the best guards to play this game in the last 11 years straight, and one of the best all time, in my opinion. If you got a problem with that, then you could check the stats. But Zack Martin is expected to announce retirement from the NFL and the Cowboys in the coming weeks. That was a story that put out yesterday. The end of an era might be arriving shortly for the Dallas Cowboys by way of one of the greatest players to ever wear one of their jerseys. Zack Martin, the perennial All-Pro right guard, is expected to retire from the NFL this offseason. It's a decision that is likely to land over the coming days, as promised by Martin, who recently noted he would notify the team ahead of free agency and will end an incomparable 11-year run at the position. An official event set to held by the Cowboys at some point in the next 2 weeks to honor the living legend, a former first-round pick in 2014, 16 overall in that year's draft. Martin wasted no time establishing himself as the best at his position, named the PFWA All-Rookie team that year. The former Notre Dame All-American had since earned a total of 9 All-Pro nods and 9 Pro Bowl honors. Man's a monster. He's played 11 years, 9 Pro Bowls in 11 years. That's pretty good, man. He was named to the NFL's top 2010 All-Decade team. This guy was a beast, man. It's sad to see him go. Obviously, I mean, when our squad was there, man, we had Tyler Smith, Tyron Steele instantly becoming elderly statements of the unit, but both having legend, all they could form. Martin, one of the best minds of the NFL. When we had Tyron Smith, Zack Martin, I mean, Travis Frederick, I mean, the list goes on and on and on. We had one of the best offensive lines in all of football when those guys were together and healthy, and when they were younger, man, from like 2015, no, 2014, because that's when they called Dez didn't catch that pass against Green Bay in 2014 against the Packers. So from 2014 to like, I'll say 2020, we had one of the best offensive lines. I mean, here and there, we messed up a couple years in advance because of injuries and stuff like that. But in that like span of like 8 years, we had one of the best defenses, probably like 6 out of those 8. Offensive line, 6 out of those 8 years. But yeah, the Cowboys definitely got to rebuild for real. Not even close. They got a lot of guys that are just not there, but we'll see. I mean, Zack Martin's a big shoe to fill. He's a Hall of Famer. To me, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer without a doubt. But I think we got to definitely, we got some studs as backups for our offensive line. But it's going to be tough to replace Zack Martin. I don't think you can. That's the type of guy who was like when we lost Tyron Smith, when he kept getting injured and stuff like that. But when we lost him, it was hard to think. But Tyler Smith's good. We got some good guys. You just got to get a productive running game in and really get that rolling. If we could get that rolling, obviously the draft has us either picking Michigan cornerback, or we have they have us picking Ashton Genty. Personally, I think we should go with Ashton Genty, have Rico Dowell in the backfield. You got those two guys. I mean, and then that really solves our offense, and we can pick up offensive line guys here and there throughout the draft. And then obviously we have a good enough offensive line to compete, but we don't have a stellar offensive line, not even close like the Eagles. We need to really revamp that offensive line to help out Dak and to really help out that running game. But then on the defensive side of the ball, we could try to move around some guys and stuff like that. Trayvon Diggs supposedly should be healthy come this season, but he might miss a couple games in the beginning because of he had to get surgery because he had fluid in his knee. But we should have our man Bland back ready to roll. I think, yeah, dude, Aiden, I think Genty's the way to go if you're a Cowboys fan, and even if you're not, I think you should say Cowboys definitely got to get Ashton Genty. But yeah, it was crazy. We had the ripple effect of Victor Wembanyama not being now being injured for the rest of the year, and who knows how his future is going to end with a blood clot. And then you got Mavericks Anthony Davis injured another 2 more weeks with his adductor strain, and then Zack Martin has officially announced his 11-year career, and he's going to retire. We got Rockets versus Timberwolves money line. Check my my TikTok. I just posted that about 35 minutes ago. But I believe I picked I forgot what's the money line on the Timberwolves Rockets, but I picked the Rockets to cover the spread, and I think I picked the over on the over and under on the total points of that game. So I don't know if I believe I did that. I think the Rockets were favored to win this game, so I had them, I think, cover. I think it was a -3.5. I had the Rockets covering the -3.5 and winning the game, and then I had the over of whatever the over and under on the total points was. I had the over because it's the Timberwolves Rockets. Going to be a good. It's going to be good, high scoring game, I think. D-Law got to go. He costs too much. I know DeMarcus Lawrence. Since he got that money, Aiden, he really's been a shit show. He's been pissing me off. He's up and down, up and down, up and down. But again, we definitely need another guy on that edge rusher. There's really not a lot of guys out there that we can pick up. That's in the free agents market. We'll see if a trade comes. I mean, Myles Garrett wants to get out of Cleveland. I would be very surprised if the Cowboys make that move. That probably will not happen. We're going to have to give up a lot of dudes, a lot of cap. It might not work in that scenario. But if you could pair Myles Garrett and freaking Micah Parsons on one side of the ball and then on the other or in the middle, that would be pretty crazy. But I don't think it's going to happen. Not even close. But other than that, guys, for the show over here for season 7, episode number 1, again, guys, I appreciate everybody out there on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok, on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify. I appreciate all the support, guys. I'm trying to make this a big time thing, so any support out there is greatly appreciated. If you're new here, either to the YouTube or the TikTok, don't forget to drop a follow, subscribe, like, share, and also don't forget to check out our Instagram. It's the Fire Sports Pod. Our TikTok is the Fire Sports Pod _2.0. YouTube is just the Fire Sports Pod. Apple Podcasts and Spotify is the Fire Sports Pod. So you guys can definitely check that out. I appreciate, again, all the support, guys. We're going to be doing a new thing. I'm going to be joining LinkedIn. I'm going to be posting some content on LinkedIn, so you guys can check that out. If you are a part of LinkedIn, drop a follow on there and like my videos and get some insights on there. So we'll be starting that probably up this weekend. The latest. So I appreciate it again, guys. This is season 7, episode 1. We've been doing 35 episodes per season since season 1. So that's, you guys can do the math here on TikTok Live. I'm not doing the math right now, but that's a lot of episodes. But again, guys, I appreciate all the support out there. Our co-host Irv wasn't able to get on today. He'll be back on for Recap Monday, which will be season 7, episode number 2. On the Fire Sports Pod. Hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. I will catch you guys on Monday for season 7, episode number 2. This is your host, Zach Jackson, powered by StreamYard, where StreamYard makes the dream yard go, here on the Fire Sports Pod. Season 7, episode number 1 is in the books. Peace out, guys.